without further ado, I'm going to introduce Pat, whose company he's representing, Ultratech, and they are a company that provides faceting machines, and that's one of our primary disciplines in this club is faceting. So with that, Pat, please take it away.
Okay, thank you very much. My actual name is James Henry Cockrell, but Pat's my nickname because I was born on St. Patrick's Day. I've had that nickname all my life, and that's what everybody at HGMS knows me by. Thank you for joining us. And what we provide to our customers is a number of different faceting machines. These machines are actually the best machines for hobbyists in the world. And they're a little expensive, but we got a new model out now that is much more reasonable. So anyway, this is the V5 machine right here. This is what I use all the time. And behind me, you can't see it, but behind me over here is the VL. That's the new one I was talking about. And on our website, you can view all the different models that we have.
Okay. Well, why don't you take some of your creations and show them and describe how you facet them?
All right. This is what I'm working on right now. It's a synthetic ruby. Right here, corundum.
What are the different types of machines? They have the regular faceting machine, which you can cut gems, which have regular angles, but they also have a fantasy machine, don't they?
Yeah, the fantasy machine cuts. You use your regular faceting machine first, and then the fantasy machine cuts concave facets on top of whichever one you decide you want concave. It's a completely different design. It's a fairly new design of faceting. Use the same mask that you got here. You just transfer your mask off your regular faceting machine over onto the fantasy machine.
So tell us a little bit about the faceting rough that you work with. What kind of stones do you cut?
Most of what I do, because I do mostly training, is synthetic material. Corundum, CZ.
I've cut CZ myself, and I found it hard to work with. It's very hard. It's harder than quartz.
Yeah,
I also cut yttrium aluminum garnet, which is quite hard.
CZ has been known for years as a substitute diamond.
But a lot of facetors talk about, okay, now that you're able to facet the quartz and the CZ and the synthetic corundums, some people say that you should not waste your time on those lower value stones, but should start faceting real stones. I've never been quite brave enough to do that. So have you faceted an actual ruby or tourmaline yourself?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. But it's a little out of my price range. Some people, that's all they want is the real thing, let's say. Mm-hmm. But the reason I like synthetics is because you don't have to deal with inclusions. You know,
that's true. Natural rubies and especially natural emeralds are famous for inclusions, aren't they?
Yes, and they're hard to come by. And when you do get a good one, I'm not talking about a good one. When you do get a good one, you're going to pay for it for sure.
But from what I understand, they can also break pretty easily.
Yeah, well, that's because of the inclusions in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, for every beautiful ring with a ruby set in 18 karat gold, there's a faceter who had to learn how to facet on a machine like yours.
That's right. And we do teach there at the club. And I've taught some, about 3 classes there myself. And so anyway, I was going to show you this machine here that I've got here. I've got some accessories on it, which are available. They're not right currently on our website. I'm talking about Ultratech's website, but I got a rotor, and those accessories are primarily I use for making preforms for the classes.
Ah, okay. And so what is the purpose of making a preform?
Okay, the preform is to get rid of what will be wasted material, to get it down to close to the shape that you need before you start actually cutting the facets.
So do you use epoxy to glue a preform or to glue a stone onto a post, which you then put into your, what do you call the part that moves there?
I start out with a piece of rough. We glue it, or what we call it, dop it to a brass dop. Here's a brass dop right here. And here's one that I've got already started here.
Once you have that dopped on the dop stick there, then you fasten it into the mast, correct?
You put it into what is called a quill right here.
Okay.
The quill, and there's a set screw on it, and you start fastening. You start with, as Randy explains in his how-to video, you start with a coarse grit, diamond grit, lap, right here, lap. This is lip. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. It's a coarse grit, like a 200 or 250, something like that, and get it down into a roughly fastened stone. And then you start each step, you go to a finer until you go into your polishes.
Well, after you've done that, on the machine that you're using, let me back up just a second. When you're doing that, you have to control the angles at which you grind the stone. Is your machine there digital?
Yes, it is. It is. I got spoiled. I started out with an analog machine, just like what Randy shows on his demo. Mm-hmm. Which has got a dial up there, which gives you your fine angle. But it's pretty much the same, except, let's see if I can turn this on here. I don't know if y'all can see that or not.
No, I don't think so. So that's fine. Well, yeah, okay. But the important thing is that you control the angle in two ways. You can control it by rotating, and you can also control the angle at which the stone hits the grinding surface.
This controls the angle of the cut. This right here. Mm-hmm. And that'll show up on your dial here. Mm-hmm. We sell these machines both analog and digital, but I don't recommend an analog anymore for if you're going to buy a new machine anyway.
I have an old analog machine myself.
Yeah. Well, they're fine. They cut fine, and that's just fine. But once you use the digital, you're going to be spoiled. You won't want to go back to the analog.
Well, I know Ultratech is considered to be the best faceting machine by many people. So we have Ultratech training machines in the clubhouse, don't we?
Yes, they're all analog. We have 6 of them.
And how many people do you think that we have trained to do faceting?
Oh gosh, we've had quite a number of classes. We have at least probably 3 or 4 classes a year.
I'm sure some people are satisfied just to learn about faceting, and others go on to buy their own machines.
Well, it's good to start out with a class first before you buy a machine and get the feel of it. You may not even like doing it. And we found that to be true with some of our students. You know, they decided it was took too long to do. It's a hobby that you have to have patience. You can't get into a hurry.
Well, it also takes patience. I know the first stone that I ever created took me about a month, and it started out pretty large and ended up being much smaller.
That's right.
However, I got better and was able to create stones in a shorter period of time. And I know that people who are really good can do it very quickly.
That's right. That's right. We have
That
a
takes
number of
experience.
very good instructors right there at HGMS. Randy Carlson's one of them. And then there's also John Lee. John Lee is a master cutter. And
Yes,
he
he's won
started
awards.
out right in our club.
Yeah, and he's won several awards.
Oh, yes. Yes, both Australian and US. US Fasteners Guild and also this Australian Fasteners Guild.
Well, those faceted stones are fascinating, and I think it's interesting for people to learn how they are created.
We invite people to come to our section meetings when we have them. Of course, we're not having them right now.
I know,
But,
like everyone, we're waiting for COVID to be over with so
Yeah,
we can resume
yeah.
regular
And,
meetings.
we have rough usually at the meetings that you can go through and pick out what you like.
Well, I know a lot of people who buy rough online too, but I always like to actually hold things in my hands before I buy them.
I'm the same
Just
way.
old fashioned that way, I guess.
I'm the same way.
Well, thank you, Pat, for telling us about Ultratech machines. And if you look online, you'll find Pat's contact information if you're interested in buying an Ultratech. All right, Scott, do you have any comments?
Okay, so I want to thank Sigrid and Pat for stimulating a conversation about one of the expertises that we offer in this club. And just to point out also, a lot of the material they were talking about is on our Command Central website, the hgms.org, and the virtual show page, virtual event page. And if you go down to the dealer section and you look under Ultratech, the information that Pat was just talking about is there. His cell phone and his email address is there. And then if you look down at the lower part of that page, you have all the contact information for the company itself, Ultratech, for you to look on their website, contact them for purchasing any of these devices. And I also want to point out that they were very magnanimous with the material that they gave us for putting on their the panel on their website, on our website. They have a video. So one of the things that Pat was just talking about is how to operate some of those machines. There is a video demonstrating some of this material that he's talking about. So please go up there. Well, thank you very much, Sigrid and Pat, and all of our attendees. Thank you.